Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we will be running down the new version for 8.3 of WorthIT. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, coming in for today, we are officially releasing WorthIT 8.3 for live retail WoW. So that being the case, let's get into the new core build of WorthIT. So the new core build of WorthIT kind of looks like this. And it is a movable panel, of course, as per you guys' request for this actual type of thing. Now we have the dashboard and all of the modules now contained within this drop down menu. We thought that this would be a lot easier for you to use, and obviously you can see now that on the dashboard all of the BFA farms, including the malformed Nasher one, which came in 8.3, is now on the actual build. This is the basic layout for the entire add-on at the moment, and currently it actually sorts all the farms to highest gold per hour to lowest. So you don't have to scroll through all of that many type of things. It does it automatically for you and just shows you the highest return for gold per hour wise when farming. Now obviously the dashboard contains the current BFA, all BFA farms that you can do, and obviously at this moment in time the malformed Nasher one is going to be quite high. Aside from that, you can now see a load of nice little columns such as the name of what you're actually going to be farming, plus your gold per hour, which is now in gold per hour form, making it a lot user friendly for you guys to see how much gold it's actually worth instead of trying to work out a massive bulk load of numbers. Aside from that, it also tells you the location of the actual place, and alongside that it actually tells you your sell rate. But most importantly, a new feature, which is routes. Now this is in conjunction with the routes add-on, so you will need this one attached to your add-ons in order to implement this. But when you go up to a farming location, or see that I wanted to do Zenithid, you see that it's 14,000 gold per hour. I might take a crack at it, but I don't know the route in which to take. So all you have to do is click import, and it will then come up to you and ask you, warning, importing route, reload your UI, import, and we now can import the actual route. So to speak, we can then press import. It will reload the UI as per what it is stated. And if we go over onto our map, and if we go over to Kulturas and then Najatar, the route is on the screen for Zenithid for you to follow. This also shows on your mini-map and is very, very helpful. And most importantly, we have the bag value button on the dashboard, which tells you your inventory value. We will get round to the extra parts to this in a second. Now, aside from that, let's get into the other modules. Now, the other modules are farming, and in the farming one, you have mining, herbalism, fishing, skinning, cloth, and miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is all the primals, volatiles, and spirits of harmony that you can do, and it is organized with routes implemented as well. Aside from that, all of the other ones are pretty much self-explanatory when it comes to the farming tab, as all you have to do is go to your required profession or non-profession with miscellaneous and cloth, and all you have to do is just click on them, and it will show you your gold per hour and all of the stuff that was previously stated in the dashboard. So that being the case, let's get into flipping. That was a very short one with farms. Now with flipping, we have disenchanting, prospecting, milling, the Spirit of Harmony flip, and the Frozen Orb flip. So all you have to do is just go over to disenchanting, and it will obviously categorize it for you. Now the disenchanting tab will tell you like as such. It will tell you how much it costs to craft the Silkweave epaulets, and it will cost me 434 gold. The estimated flip value on crafting them and disenchanting them will be posted on the far right hand side under value. This will net me in 2,518 gold, and if we go over to this part over here, it will tell me my profit in this column. So I can make 2,000 gold profit for every 100 silkweave epaulets that I have crafted from 434 gold. This goes alongside with prospecting in the module of prospecting, and also with milling. This is a much more cleaner way in order to see, because we got some feedback saying that it wasn't too clear on the original add-on for 8.2.5, and such. We have addressed it and made it a lot more efficient in order for you guys to use, in order to do some flipping, so to speak, when it comes to milling, prospecting and disenchanting. Aside from that, let's have a look at some other flips, such as the frozen orb flip. Now with the frozen orb flip, it will tell you your cost, value, sell rate and profit. With the frozen orb flip, you'll be buying the frozen orbs either from the auction house or from the vendor, and then going over to the frozen orb vendor and trading them in for eternal fires, earth, life, water and air. This will tell you your estimated profit upon how much it costs as per usual, but some of you guys don't know how to do the flip. So this comes in conjunction with another add-on called TomTom. Now, TomTom is a great way in order to find certain NPCs and all that jazz, so we thought that this was a much preferred method in order to do. So, say I wanted to make a load of Eternal Earth, and I'm going to press add for waypoints. It now adds a vendor to my screen from the WorthIT add-on. And all I've got to do now is follow the arrow that TomTom provides. Now, if I wanted to run over there like as such, all I have to do is get up on my flying mount and fly over to the vendor. Now, this is the thing with the Spirit of Harmony flip. It has two vendors. So once I've been to this vendor and bought my frozen orb, I can now go over to the other vendor which it provides. So once you've gone to the first vendor for buying your frozen orbs, it will tell you to go to the other vendor and show you exactly where he is in order to do the flip very efficiently. So let's see, on this we wanted to buy some Eternal Earths, and we'll buy an Eternal Earth. Done. We've now done the flip and we've now increased our gold by using this flip. Now, aside from that, this actually goes the same along with Spirit of Harmony. The Spirit of Harmony has waypoints for the vendor as for Horde and Alliance, so it will the WorthIT add-on will know if you are Horde and Alliance, and it will show you to those vendors respectively. We thought that this was a nice little touch and to add on to when you're actually using the add-on, so to speak. Now, moving on to our newest module, which is Transmog. And Transmog goes as follows. At this moment in time, Transmog is only for vanilla dungeons, so to speak. The vanilla Transmog set layout for judging its gold per hour is set as such. It actually calculates how much gold you're likely to make per hour in looted item value. Just bear that in mind when it comes to Transmog. And in this part, it actually shows you a couple of things, such as your gold per hour. So we can take 64,000 gold per hour, and where's the location? It is Black Fathom Depths as such. Now, if we move over to what these items are, these are all items of note. So we thought that this would be a nice little thing to implement, and it actually shows you an item to keep an eye out for, such as the Axe of the Enforcer from Black Fathom Depths sells for a market value of 51,000 gold. Now, that being the case, it also tells me the sell rate of that noted item, and it's just an item to keep an eye out for when you're doing this farm. So we know that 64,000 gold per hour for Black Fathom Deeps, and we have a chance of getting the Axe of the Enforcer. And we can see by TSM that 51,000 gold will actually be quite handy. Now, aside from that, we can also see that Alderman is at the bottom at 3,000 gold per hour on looted item value. We can now judge what is actually best when you're doing transmog farms, because Alderman's gold per hour on average is pretty damn piss poor when you're actually farming it for anything noteworthy gold per hour wise for looted item value. But if you're wanting to go for a specific item such as the Pendulum of Doom, which is a 1 million gold item, you now have the option with seeing a notable item whether to do it or not, whether to take the chance. It's completely up to you when it gives you a value for the gold per hour and the noted item. So you can decide, is it worth taking the chance to get hold of that transmog item? So it's completely up to you guys. Last and finally, we are going to go on to configuration. Now, obviously, when it comes to configuration, we have a few things that we need to have set up before you can use the WorthIT add-on. And that is, you must have TSM installed in order for you to get the values on the WorthIT add-on. Aside from that, you are able to add a few things when it comes to customizability when it comes to your WorthIT add-on. Now you can still have the option of pricing sources, so you can now use pricing sources to actually decide on what you want to do. So if I want to go with min buyout, no reload UI necessary now. It automatically updates it all to the min buyout, and there is no pushing of buttons anymore with that when you had for the one for 8.2.5. For 8.3, we got rid of the buttons completely, and it does all the calculations automatically for you based upon the price source in which you decide upon. So I'm going to stick with DB Market. Now moving over to the other thing in the configuration, and that is your bag value threshold. Now with the bag value threshold, all you have to do is, we see that the bag item value is currently at 63,971 gold in my bags. And obviously I've got very messy bags and all that jazz, but let's clean that up right now. But at the end of the day, I can now pick my minimum item value. So now when it comes to bag value, if you just leave it as it is, it will pick up everything and value it, besides poor items. By default, it will pick up common to uncommon to rare, epic and legendary items and value it as such. With the now bag value threshold, you can say how much gold you want to have as the minimum item value to be valued at. So let's say 1,000 gold, and we'll press OK. This immediately clears if you already have your bag value up, and we can now see that we only have 10,000 gold's worth of items in our bag that is worth over 1,000 gold. And we thought that this was a nice little method to keep an ID on noted items in your bag that are worth a hell of a lot more. Now, aside from that, we can now pick between if we want it to be customizable to the user. So if we wanted only uncommon items and above, it now does that. So if I brought that down to 100 gold, and it now can say 13,129 gold of uncommon items or higher are being taken into consideration when the bag value button is being pressed. Which brings us into our last one, and this is the under threshold price. And you can pick none if you really wanted to, and it will value it as such. It automatically by default goes to vendor. So if you have a load of soulbound items, using vendor, it will tell you how much it will be vendored for, and then take that into consideration when you're going into your bag value button. And in this drop down menu, we have destroying over vendor. So this button actually double checks between the vendor sell price and the destroying price of disenchanting or milling or what have you, and it will basically take into consideration when valuing how much it would be worth if you destroyed such items in your bag, and then valuate it at the destroyed price as opposed to the vendor price. So it basically weighs up the odds and tells you if it's good enough to be destroyed and will you make more gold that way. So we thought that this would be a nice little touch moving forward. So with those original stuff, at the vendor price, we make 13,000 gold. But if we went over to the destroying price, we can now turn that 13,000 gold by using our disenchanting in our bags and our milling in order to make it up to 30,000 gold to post on the auction house. And that just makes it a little bit more helpful when you're trying to make it all into, when you're trying to maximize the amount of gold you're trying to get per hour. So aside from that, that is the WorthIT add-on. Obviously, we have a new logo courtesy of Voodoo, and thanks to Callan for helping build all of the core engine for the new add-on to remove all of those buttons and such. And also, one last thanks to everyone who has helped collect all of the data points that we need to make this add-on work effectively and efficiently as possible, giving the best possible gold per hour in order to help all the other gold makers out there. Aside from that, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you on the next video, which will be tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys, and I shall see you soon.